upset. How about that?
Total team win. And you know what's scary? We're starting to believe.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur is celebrating in the locker room after the Packers' big win over the Kansas City Chiefs at Lambeau Field. The final 27-19 went down to the final play of the game before we knew what was going to happen. Quarterback Jordan Love looked fantastic, throwing for 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Packers now are 6-6. They are the 7th seed. If the season were to end right now, they'd be in the playoffs. ESPN Milwaukee's Mark Tauscher says they're becoming very good.
This team's a playoff team, and nobody in the NFC wants to see the G&G rolling into town in a playoff game right now. They just don't. They would prefer anybody else because this is a dangerous, young, up-and-coming football team that has a bunch of young players that don't know any better, and that is a dangerous thing come playoff time.
Up next for the Packers, the Giants on Monday night. 60 years of Christmas parades in Waukesha.
The Waukesha community full of joy and cheer for their annual Christmas parade. Waukesha County Executive Paul Farrell telling WTMJ how fun it is to see the Waukesha community band together after tragedy.
The resiliency the community has, the love they have for each other to help out. You get organizations that just step up and are there for everyone is just fun to see.
Farrell has been in the parade since 2013 and says it's a great way to kick off the holiday season.
A lot of happy faces. I was walking along already. We're looking forward to it. So everybody out there, Merry Christmas.
At the Waukesha Parade, I'm Julian Johnson, WTMJ News.
Getting an update now on the recovery operation after a U.S. military aircraft crash overseas. It happened last week.
In a joint U.S.-Japanese operation in southwestern Japan, more human remains and wreckage from a U.S. Air Force CV-22 Osprey have been located. The aircraft, noted for its vertical takeoff ability but with a controversial safety record, crashed into the sea last week. 8 crew members were aboard. One had already been found deceased on the day of the crash. Rescue teams are now focused on recovery and support for the families of the missing. Anthony Trotter, ABC News, Tokyo.
Israel's military is renewing calls for mass evacuations from southern Gaza. This as it widens its ground offensive. Also been bombarding some targets across the Strip. Now, they are aimed at eliminating Gaza's Hamas rulers. CNN reporting this morning that a top Hamas commander has been killed. Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, as we just get underway on Wall Street here, about a half hour in, the Dow is down 126. The NASDAQ down 149 and the S&P down 33. It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Planning Review. They'll review, assess, and provide strategies you can use. Go to annexwealth.com/taxsmart. Sports, traffic, weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:04.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We needed to sell Mom's home quickly and with a company we could rely on.
No showings, no closing costs, no staging, no real estate agent fees, no added stress.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
In the heart of downtown Milwaukee, there's an all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel, where there's a table waiting for you at 12 bars and restaurants, a winning seat at 40 table games or 3,000 slot machines, plus the thrill of bingo, full-service sports betting, and more. Are you ready to spark something new? Light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Explore more at paysbig.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
You know, it feels good when I find something really cool and get a great deal on it. But it feels even better when I know that the money I spend actually goes directly to helping others. That's why I shop at St. Vincent de Paul, because I always find the best bargains, and the money I spend stays in Milwaukee County to help fight hunger and eliminate poverty. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton in Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Time for a WTMJ sports update. If the season ended right now, the Packers would be in the playoffs, believe it or not. They're now 6-6 after beating the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday night at Lambeau Field, 27-19 the final. Up next for the Green and Gold, a Monday night matchup in New York against the Giants. Bucks and Knicks tomorrow from Fiserv Forum. That's the start of the knockout round of the in-season tournament. WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. A couple of slowdowns as we roll into work this morning. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 through the zoo and into downtown. That's looking good. It's about a 17-minute ride. 894 eastbound, you'll notice this right around, let's see here, right around 60th Street. You're going to see some slowdowns in that stretch as you head east toward the Mitchell interchange. And 43 southbound, slow going through the work there too. Before you get to Capitol Drive, you're going on the brakes as you head into downtown.
Traffic is sponsored by the Amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
Buy a $100 gift card from the Amazing Mineshaft Restaurant. Get a $20 gift card free. Boy, is that easy. Order online at mineshaftrestaurant.com.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny today, a high of 40. Tonight, chance for some snow perhaps, a low of 32. For Tuesday, light morning snow, less than an inch. By the time we're done with it, a high of 41 tomorrow. Wednesday, sunny, high of 41. Thursday, the high is 50. Friday, a high of 54. Right now in Milwaukee, 37. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:07.
Win or lose, are we feeling the love this morning? Well, now that we've had time to sleep on it, let's talk about it. It's time for Monday Morning Quarterback on WTMJ Now.
From the frozen tundra, I crawled my way back last night. 1:15 arrival in the beautiful city of Oak Creek. Mike Spalding sitting in for Brandon Snide. Hi, Mike.
Your car was crawling. Like, traffic was crawling, right? It wasn't.
Yes.
I know it was a great game, but it wasn't you crawling.
There's so many things we can say, and we'll say a lot of those things but over the next half hour. But it reminded me of probably like the Favre era home games, regular season games at Lambeau. Crowd was incredibly loud last night. I don't know how it sounded on TV. I'll listen to the game or watch the game later when I get home, at least the sped-up version of the game, the broadcast on NBC. But how did it sound on the TV?
Extremely loud.
It was crazy loud.
It sounded like a college football game. You know how like the crowd is like up in a lather? That was last night at Lambeau Field, which normally at Lambeau it looks beautiful, but it does not come through on the TV, and it was extremely loud.
I was talking to Gabe Neitzel from ESPN 94.5 about that. He said it sounded loud. And I said it had to be a combination of a couple things. Night game, national game, big NBC, Taylor Swift in the crowd, and Simone Biles and all that stuff. But there's a lot of Chiefs fans there as well. So there was never really a lull in the noise. You know how the home folks tell you to be quiet when we're on offense? But the Chiefs fans weren't quiet. And we had all that excitement. Folks were just into the game. And we watched... Even if you're not a fan of the Chiefs or the Packers, that was a great regular season NFL football game.
It had everything you could possibly want, including weather. It had a Packers team that was sort of, I don't know if we're going to say announcing itself back into the national conversation.
I'm saying that.
But certainly a team that a month ago trying to score 18 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they like shed that cocoon. So you had that, you had the weather, you had the pomp and circumstance of Sunday night, as you mentioned, Taylor Swift in the house, and also just utter domination of the defending Super Bowl champions.
It was a remarkable game, and now that we've watched both the Detroit Lions game and now this game back to back, Lions are 9-3 in first place in NFC North. I think they have a 3-game lead or something like that. Chiefs are the Super Bowl champs. They have a 2 or 3 game lead in their division. These are really good football teams that they've played. Now, they lost to Detroit the first game, but they went back to Detroit and won that game in spectacular fashion on Thanksgiving. I don't know why we would think otherwise, and I was listening to a lot of the post game all over the place, and a couple things. Jordan Love getting a lot of respect, and he deserves it. I mean, he's had 3 touchdown, no interception games in the course of this season. That's almost unheard of. And I know a lot of people say, well, he's been around for a little bit. He's a rookie quarterback, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. He's showing up and starting for a team that is the youngest team in the NFL. And he's performing at the highest level. When I'm sitting in my seats, I see the whole field. There were some lasers to some. They didn't catch some of them, but some of the passes caught, especially the Watson touchdown in the back of the end zone. That's Rodgers-esque.
I am not saying that he is, a Patrick Mahomes type, but watching him throw the football, it's a nicer looking ball than it does coming out of Mahomes. Like, it is the tightest spiral I can recall seeing. It's fantastic. You know what, Steve? The other thing that I think lended to the excitement last night was the fact that you have guys like Corey Ballantyne making plays on guys like Travis Kelce. So on top of the domination of the defending Super Bowl champions, you also had unheralded, players, whether they're undrafted or they've been journeymen, and people love a good underdog story, and last night was perfect.
I just think it was a story that the NFL can really tell. You have the now the legendary quarterback Patrick Mahomes, 2-time Super Bowl champion, still in the peak of his game, right? What is he, late 20s, early 30s at the most? And Jordan Love, who has sat on the bench, a la Aaron Rodgers, and learned from it, and now is taking all the things he learned and, fits and starts throughout the season and is now demonstrating on the highest level, one of the biggest Thanksgiving Day TV crowds for early football. I think it might have been the biggest ever at the early game on Thanksgiving, ever.
Yep.
Or since TV was a thing. And then last night, I'll be curious to see what the ratings were because they would not have dropped off at the end of this game. I stayed in my seat until the final second went off the clock. Now, typically, I kind of wander out to get closer to the exits. Not last night. It was incredible.
The game was so good that I feel like the lack of officiating competency there at the end did not overshadow. I mean, you saw it immediately last night on the social media that everyone hated the refs, but I think it was so bad in both directions that it didn't take away from what actually happened. And it's a great game if that's what the deal is.
It was like 59 minutes of decent officiating, and then the last minute was a little...
They just gave up. They just stopped paying attention.
One bad call for you, one bad call for you. They're handing out Oprah bad calls. But it's like, that to me wasn't the focus. This was a team, the Green Bay Packers, who said, you know what? On the biggest stage, we're gonna go down the field twice in the first quarter, and we're gonna rock it on offense. And then, you know what? The defense said, you know what? Maybe we'll do that too.
Yeah.
And they shut them down. Was it 14-6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was utter domination. The score, I think, actually was closer than what the game actually looked like. You just didn't feel like the Chiefs had any momentum. Even when they got the ball back down 5 and you thought, okay, this is where Mahomes shines, you didn't, at least I didn't feel like that momentum was on their side. And so Nixon picking that ball off was just, I don't know, I almost expected it, which 2 months ago, if you would have told me that, I was thinking of the Packers in that way, I would have told you you're crazy.
So my show poll today is based on what happened last night and really more importantly, what's going to happen in the next 5 games. So simple question, and you can answer on Twitter right now at 620 WTMJ or at WTMJ Steve. How many games do you think this Packers team can win this year? They have 6 currently. They have 5 games left. 3 choices, 7 or 8, 9 or 10, which right now is 70% of the votes. Yeah. And I just, for fun, I spinal tapped and did let's turn it up to 11, which would mean a clean run to the end of the season. I think 9 and 10 is comfortable. They have some really winnable games coming up in the next 5.
I did not realize what their schedule looked like the rest of the season.
I have their schedule.
It's pitiful, which is awesome for the Green Bay Packers. But considering if you can escape Monday night against the Giants, which I don't want to say trap game, but Buccaneers, Panthers, terrible. Vikings, maybe. And Bears, also terrible. So realistically, if you told me they'd get to 11 wins, I go, okay, that's doable. But the fact they're on a 3-game winning streak right now, that'd be a 9-game winning streak. I don't know if we're there yet.
Do you buy what Tausch says that nobody wants to play this team right now? I don't know if I'm there yet.
I don't know if I'm there with nobody, but it's certainly not going to be the cakewalk that maybe you would have thought of when it was, October 30th.
Here's the way I would caution fans to look at this. And again, I'm the guy that revised. I said this to Vince and Eric. I revised my win total from 8 to 6 like 6 weeks ago. Dumb me, I missed the idea or the thought that this might happen. The next 5 games are really important for this team. This is Jordan Love's essentially his rookie year. This is the youngest team in the NFL, and you had a pretty tough schedule this year, at least at the beginning of the season. So if this team carves out 10 wins or 11 wins, which still is a pretty far-fetched goal, you've got to think this team is one of the best teams in the NFL at the youngest age. And I made this point on social media this morning. You got to believe that the fans of the Vikings and the fans of the Lions and the fans of the Bears today are saying, you know what?
Deja vu.
Yeah, exactly. Did they get another one? Are you? How can that be? We'll take a break here. Mike Spalding joining me on a special edition of Monday Morning Quarterback after the big Packers win over the Chiefs last night in Lambeau Field.
Don't go anywhere. The Monday Morning Quarterback returns right after this on WTMJ. If you missed this.
Brewers owner Mark Attanasio is with us on WTMJ. Why is he leaving Milwaukee where he says that he loved it and didn't give you the chance to make the counteroffer?
You'll have to ask Craig that.
Or this.
ABC's Jordana Miller is live in Jerusalem. Just from a geographical sense, how are the Israeli troops deployed in the country?
Well, the main focus of the Israeli army is the battle in northern Gaza.
Check out Wisconsin's Afternoon News, the podcast presented by Guy's Garage Doors.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Isn't this the best time of year? Wisconsin has the green and gold, Milwaukee Hoops, Wisconsin football, basketball, and volleyball. What more can Wisconsin sports fans ask for? As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows that it takes a team effort to make things happen. And when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team you're looking for. Good luck to all Wisconsin teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
You're listening to the Monday Morning Quarterback on Wisconsin's radio station, WTMJ.
Love fakes. Boot. End zone. Ben Sims. First NFL touchdown. And Lambeau leap.
I had to actually say to my wife, wait, who is that? Because I wasn't listening to the broadcast. Ben Sims. I haven't even had a chance to look up the trajectory of Ben Sims. Do you know what his trajectory? I didn't know he was on the team until last night.
He rookie. I know that.
I know he's a rookie.
Yeah, Baylor. That's all I know about him. He scored a touchdown last night. Good for Ben. What a day.
It was one of those weird nights because for the first time in probably 10 years, I don't know all the numbers of the players. And I got to get better at this because if they're going to be this team that's on the rise, I used to know every player, name and number, across the whole 53 lineup. And now I know probably three-quarters of them, which is a problem if you want to talk about the Green Bay Packers. But I want to ask you, Mike Spalding, who's sitting in for Brandon Snide this morning on Monday Morning Quarterback, the how question. How has this team done this? We had some early success, beat the Bears, had a great game against the Saints, the fourth quarter, really. The incredible display, both on defense and offense, to win that game at home, a game it was at. And then they had this lull where they couldn't win a game. They were competitive in most of them, except for Lions and Minnesota. And then all of a sudden, explosion of 4 of the last 5, and they could have won the other one too. What's the how question? Like, how did they do this?
I think it's Jordan Love. I know that's like the lame answer, but I think it is because if you look at last night, the offensive line was okay. Running game is what it's going to be, which is just okay. Wide receivers are just okay. To me, it's the defense figuring out kind of who they are and having great depth in that defensive backfield because Jair Alexander not playing. Didn't know if you realized that or not.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's Jordan Love coming into his own, realizing that he has a role in a leadership role on this team and can start to, through his play, become more of a vocal leader. They talked on the broadcast last night about how he's kind of unassuming. He's one of the guys, he's not bigger than life like Aaron was or that Brett Favre was, but he can come in and go, this is my level of play. I'm going to not only give you everything I have, but also be an adequate to above adequate player. And that kind of just raises the bar. I think he had the most question marks coming in to the season facing him, and through his play has kind of erased that. I don't even think he's top 10 concern or question mark for this team. So I think it's Jordan Love.
It's an interesting choice, and I don't disagree. I looked at his numbers this morning. If you look at the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, it's like a roster of future Hall of Famers. And then there's Jordan Love in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 on touchdown passes as a quarterback. A guy who, as I said before, 3 touchdown games, no interceptions. And his accuracy on passing is also something that was
a huge question.
Yes. And that seems to have settled down. Let me ask it this way. Do you think sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, watching him, practicing with him, is one of the reasons he's starting to show these skills? I think you have to say yes.
I think yes. This is the second time the Packers have done this. It was with Rodgers, then it was with Jordan Love. So I think there is definitely something to it. You know, you're around the building. I think if you look at the New York Jets and you have a highly touted quarterback in... blanking on his name right now. Who's a quarterback?
The Jets?
Yes. Second overall pick guy.
Don't know.
Whatever.
Don't care.
Doesn't matter. You get thrown in. You don't have immediate.
Wilson?
Yes, thank you, Wilson. You don't have immediate success, and nobody knows who you are. You're just this highly touted guy. With Jordan Love, you have a guy who has the talent and has the ability, but has also been around that room for 3 years. And so when you struggle, guys go, hey, I know you're struggling, Jordan, but I know who you are. You have built up that rapport in the locker room, and I think that helps get through some of the rough points.
You know, I've talked to like former football players, former coaches, including Mike Holmgren, about what makes a team better.
Yeah.
And they've all mentioned the fact that the teamwork aspect coming together, and LaFleur certainly highlighted that in his postgame. And I think that you have a quarterback in Jordan Love who has been around that, like you just said. He's been around it for a while. He's not somebody that just got drafted and got thrown in.
Yeah.
With zero chemistry. These guys all know him, right? There's not a lot of veterans on this team, but it's a young group, in like a high school team, right? It's all guys that have known each other for 4 years.
And you're all the same level,
Yes.
sort of. There's no
Same
super-duper star either. You're all kind of learning and growing. And so when Christian Watson makes a mistake, you're not getting the smirk and the stare and the sneer from the quarterback position as you were, because Jordan Love knows, well, on the next throw, I might miss him, and I don't want that to happen to me. So I think there's something to be said about like being one of those, like a guy that people like. Like you're a leader as a quarterback, and you need people to like you. And I think Jordan Love has been able to ride those waves because he is that person.
I heard a lot of the postgame last night. It has Joe Barry, Packers defensive coordinator, has he saved his job/career?
Yeah,
I think so.
Until the Giants drop 24 or something. You know what I mean? Like,
so you're already calling for the correction.
I'm not. I just know that it's a fickle world when you're a coordinator.
That is true. All right, Mike Spalding joining me, a special edition of a Beat the Super Bowl Champs Monday Morning Quarterback. After the break, the culture of Lambeau, the Taylor Swift, the Simone Biles, who, by the way, Mike Spalding, might be our Taylor Swift. Could be. She was on the field like crazy. She was kissing her husband who plays in the Packers, Jonathan Owens. It's Jonathan, right? Yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of great games last night.
Yes,
Owens.
Yes. Lots of excitement. That's what we're talking about. Monday morning quarterback right here on WTMJ now.
This is the Monday Morning Quarterback on WTMJ. New season, new coach.
There's an art to looking good out there on the floor.
Same old Giannis.
Euro stepping through everybody and then slashes his way all the way in for an easy layup. Easy for Giannis, not for the mere mortal.
Catch every slam, every jam.
So that is stealing candy from the baby as he flushes it through with a two-hand jam.
And every swish.
Then he cans another.
All season long on your home of the Milwaukee Bucks. 620 WTMJ.
How about this? You're sitting at home. It's the holidays. You're thinking, I got to buy something for somebody. And then there's a ring on your Ring doorbell, and it says, delivery. You walk out, there's a box of Omaha steaks. I've had that happen to me, like, in the last week. You can make that happen for somebody else at their house. On you. Great present. So if you have that holiday list, trying to think what to get, here's what you do. Go to Omaha Steaks, omahasteaks.com. Enter the promo code WTMJ. They have a 50% off site-wide sale right now. All the great stuff. Burgers, filet mignons, Jumbo Franks, amazing. Sides, all that stuff. Omaha Steaks, omahasteaks.com. 50% off site-wide sale. They have some great deals. Just went on yesterday. Enter the promo code WTMJ at checkout, $30 off your order. Minimum order may be required, but this is not going to last long. Omaha Steaks, ready to ship to you or someone on your holiday list. It's a gift from the hearts. Do it. Don't wait. Omaha Steaks, omahasteaks.com. Site-wide, 50% off site-wide sale. $30 off your order if you use the promo code WTMJ. Why wouldn't you? omahasteaks.com. Minimum ordered may be required.
Get the gift of savings Friday through Sunday, in-store only during Fleet Fest at Fleet Farm. Get a $10 gift card when you buy $50 in toys for the kids. Take an extra 20% off all varieties of wild bird food. And save $10 instantly on any $75 purchase for a limited time only with our seasonal savings coupon. Shop in-store this Friday through Sunday for even more Fleet Fest deals at Fleet Farm, where we have everything you need for everyone on your list.
Vince Vitrano for Great Lakes Landscape. I take pride in my yard, and this spring, I plan to spend more time enjoying it with help from Great Lakes Landscape. The off-season is when you look ahead to landscape maintenance packages for $24. Take feeding your lawn. You could spend just as much buying bags of fertilizer and laying it down yourself. Why not get Southeast Wisconsin's premier installation and maintenance company to do it for you? They'll custom build a plan to beautify and maintain your yard from mulch to shrubs to a lawn that's the envy of the neighborhood. GreatLakesLandscape.com, GreatLakesLandscape.com.
This is the Monday Morning Quarterback on WTMJ.
But there was the pull in the arm, so that's either side of the coin. It works out for the Chiefs. But Mahomes throws a pick to Keyshawn Nixon on the next play.
Playoffs? Aren't we talking playoffs, Mike Spalding? We are now the 7th seed in the playoffs.
I think it's their position to lose at this point. I mean, just looking at what their schedule shakes out, how it shakes out, if they don't make the playoffs, it would be a disappointment for a season, but I don't know for the team expectation.
Yeah, at this point, it would be a disappointment to me if they didn't make the playoffs. Giants, Tampa, Carolina, 1-11 team. Minnesota, always tough game on the road, Sunday Night Football. So Tirico and Collinsworth will get a chance to tee up the Packers one more time. When I got home at 1:15, I did watch the last 5 minutes of the broadcast.
Yeah.
Very, very, I don't want to say pro Chiefs in some of the dissection of what was going on. I felt like they wanted the Chiefs to come back and win the game. That's what I felt like. Now, that might be a fan saying that. Because I don't know. It just felt like that to me.
Yeah, a little bit, I think. I also think we talked about it a bit ago. The refereeing, the officiating, or lack thereof, I think also threw kind of a wrench in it. I did feel like it was fair, although I just don't think there were that many talking points prepped for the Green Bay Packers. Like I think most people went into this game thinking, we're going to talk Taylor Swift, we're going to have a big game from Kelsey, all this stuff, and that's not how it shook out whatsoever.
I'm air quoting experts for the folks watching on the stream. Every expert picked the Chiefs.
Yeah.
At Lambeau. Now, here's a moment of personal clarity. So I've been in a football pool for like 25 years where we pick every regular season and postseason game with the point spread for fun. For the last 3 weeks, I have picked, and I always pick the Packers for 24, 25 years. The last 3 weeks, I have picked against the Packers. They've won all 3 games.
So keep picking against them. Yeah, unfortunately,
I said it to my wife last night, Kathy. I go, should I keep doing this? She goes, you're not going to say that on the air. I go, yeah, I'm going to say it on the air. I did not have confidence in this team, and I picked against them. I'll keep picking against them if they keep winning.
When you have the good mojo on your side, sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do to get the results.
Exactly.
I'm
doing it for the team.
Appreciate your sacrifice.
Yeah, and it's killing me on my performance because those would be easy wins. All right, so let's talk about the culture. Yeah. First of all, the crowd was incredible.
Yeah.
A Sunday night, I hadn't been to a night game in a while. It was absolutely electric in there. The fans were pumped. Everybody was in a great mood. Obviously,
and urgent.
Everybody was in great. It was urgent. Yes, it was urgent and exciting. I didn't watch the broadcast, at least the part where Taylor Swift. Like, how much of that was talked about?
Very little.
Really?
You had a little bit of T Swift at the beginning of the first half, the first quarter. There was one shot of her in a red coat sitting inside the box. And then I think it was done. I was pretty locked into the whole game. And I think that might have been it. After the first touchdown, that opening of the third quarter touchdown by the Chiefs, maybe got a little Taylor Swift action because I think Kelsey had a catch.
He had a couple nice catches.
I could have used a little bit more. I feel like it got hyped up a lot and then it did not. That's the
More
one part
Taylor
that didn't.
Swift.
Well, I just feel like that part didn't deliver as much.
NBC shook it off, and they said, we're not playing more Taylor Swift. All right, is Simone Biles our Taylor Swift?
Yes.
Because she's going to be a super, especially after the Olympics this summer in Paris. Next season, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
She's our superstar.
Yeah, great ambassador,
Celebrity.
too. On the field.
Loves the team, loves Green Bay, apparently. Oh, I didn't even tell you this. So sitting in our section, in our club section, the mother of Christian Watson, the grandmother of Christian Watson, and his sister. So my wife, Kathy, who loves to talk at games, is spent like half hour chatting with the Watson family. They said, now this is, through my wife, they absolutely love Green Bay, love everything about it. Now, he came from I think South Dakota State or something like that.
Yep.
She goes, this environment, this is from the grandmother, this environment is perfect for Christian. And that's part of the success. What I love about this story, the fact that Green Bay could be an up-and-coming, very young team, it reestablishes the Green Bay credibility because there's a lot of people who are concerned when Rodgers goes away, what do we have here? What do we have left? This kind of reestablishes that. Those big Sunday night games, next week, Monday night, the Jordan Love, whatever that's going to be, the performance that maybe gets them in the playoffs, that reestablishes credibility for the franchise, even though they don't need it, with the rest of the league.
What I think most of that doubt, most of that pessimism comes from our own house. I think what we need to acknowledge with the Green Bay Packers is that they are one of those teams that has the institutional stability to where bottoming out would be extremely difficult. I look at it like the Pittsburgh Steelers, like maybe a San Francisco 49ers, a Kansas City Chiefs, where you lose stuff, but you have like an institutional integrity that other teams, a la the Carolina Panthers, like they just don't have it. And in Green Bay, there's this, I don't know what it is, if it's Lambeau, whatever, they're very smartly put together. They don't make rash decisions. You're not firing people left and right. Like they're willing to see a plan through. And there's something to be said about that because teams that are unable to do that are the ones that you perpetually see at the bottom. And maybe they get lucky and you're the Houston Texans and you have C.J. Stroud. But the Packers have this institutional ability to just be okay and then be good. Like the Steelers, you're never going to see Pittsburgh Steelers go 2-15 ever. And I find it hard to believe you'd find the Packers do that as well.
You know you can thank for that? Ron Wolf, Bob Harlan, and Reggie White. Because Reggie White said to the rest of the NFL, I don't care how big Green Bay is. I'm going to go to that team. We're going to win a Super Bowl. And they did. And that decision allowed Green Bay to be relevant again when they hadn't been relevant for 20 years. Those three men, Ron Wolf especially, and Bob Harlan. Unbelievable leadership at a time when you needed it critically. Because I watched this team in person in the 70s. It was like Carolina Panthers. It was hard to watch. They had a couple seasons here and there, but it wasn't like this. This is one of those moments, and I think a game like last night's gave clarity for fans. Again, anything could happen. We could have injuries. We seem to be getting a little bit healthier. But if I said this over and over throughout Monday Morning Quarterbacks throughout this season. You tell me we don't have Bakhtiari, Aaron Jones for most of the season, and other Jair Alexander, and we're competitive, I'd say you're crazy.
Yeah, no, there's something to be said about believing in a way and being able to see it through. And also that comes with talent evaluation. Like that doesn't, I mean, look at what's happening in New England with the Patriots right now. They were probably the poster child for stability for the past 20 some odd years, and it's completely fallen apart because they don't have the talent on that roster. So say what you will about Brian Gutekunst, say what you will about Matt LaFleur, whoever's making decisions in that front office, they know how to maybe not see super duper stars, but have that the depth. If you would have told me the defensive backfield looks the way it does, and you're shutting down the Kansas City Chiefs, while maybe not the greatest wide receivers they've had of all time, but a knowledgeable team with Patrick Mahomes on it, and you would say, look, they're going to be this team, they're going to shut them down, they're going to win. There's something to be said about that, I think. And so if you're Brian Gutekunst, we talked a little bit about, the defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, have they righted the ship a little bit? Yeah, but I also think Brian Gutekunst from a general manager position has also instilled some belief a little bit. Yeah, you got Bakhtiari and you're eating a bunch of Rodgers money and stuff, but that's every single team.
Real quick, because we're going to get you out of here because you have other serious work to do. This is just the fun stuff. This is a fun Monday, Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. I wanted to make sure I was here. I was here on a non-Victory Monday. Lost last time, so thanks for having me back.
What game was that?
I don't remember which game it was. It was.
Was that what it was? I was gone.
No, you were here. Brandon was gone. I want to say maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was Lions. It might have been the Lions
game.
When
Vikings
it was just
early games, yeah.
Things are not going well, huh?
Thanks for sitting in.
I appreciate it, Steve. Thank you.
Mike Spalding, a special Beating a Super Bowl Champs edition of Monday Morning Quarterback right here on WTMJ. We're going to do a hard pivot and get to some real big news. Lots of news happening in this world that we live in, including a story that makes me sad, and I'll tell you what that is in a moment right here on WTMJ.
It's WTMJ Now.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead AccuNet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at AccuNet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at AccuNet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
WTMJ Now.
Happy Victory Monday, everybody. Yours truly, Steve Scaffidi here on WTMJ Now. All right, so full disclosure. Let's just get it out there. I have no phones and no text. I want to reconsider. As hard as that may be, that's the world we live in. Always has been. You have to make difficult choices if you want to have a better life. And choosing Hamas as your representative is not a great lifestyle choice. Matter of fact, it probably more often than not will lead to you or someone in your family being killed. The nonsense, the protesting, the tearing down of posters, the bad decisions like the one we saw in Virginia, where you can't have a celebration of faith, is shameful. And it's a painful reminder that sometimes history is forgotten, and in this case, it should not be. Will we learn? Will we figure it out? I hope so. But this is where leaders need to step up. And right now, at least at the university level and in some local communities across this country, failure, failure, failure. You get an F. We'll take a break for news. You're listening to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Sandy Max of WTMJ here. 'Tis the season of specials, and all through the night there are concerts and specials to my great delight. From Andrea Bocelli and John McGivern, too. Milwaukee PBS has specials for just me and you. So check out the specials and then watch them twice, because Milwaukee PBS is really quite nice.
Tonight at 7, enjoy Andrea Bocelli, Believe, with a special ticket offer for Milwaukee PBS donors. Tonight at 7 on Channel 10, Milwaukee PBS.
Hey, WTMJ's John Rockier here. Guthrie and Fry provides the best water service at the most competitive prices. Water softeners, iron filters, well pump and service repair, salt delivery, they do it all. They take care of their customers like their family. They protect the water in my house. They say better water makes a big difference, and it sure does. Let them take care of you the way they take care of me. It's Guthrie and Fry since 1974. GuthrieFryWater.com.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Ten o'clock, 40 degrees. That's the high today and partly sunny. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. A dramatic win for the green and gold over the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs at Lambeau Field on Sunday night. Packers quarterback Jordan Love among the many who played so well as the Packers win 27-19.
Yeah, I think the confidence for me is just growing. I got just every rep I get, every time I'm touching the field, I'm getting more confident, getting more comfortable in the pocket, and just making these plays that I make in practice. So the confidence is growing. I think the confidence in everybody in that locker room is growing as well.
Love throwing for 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Packers now 6-6. They are now in the postseason hunt. They're the 7th seed if the playoffs were to start today. ESPN Milwaukee's Mark Tauscher.
Nobody, and that includes the San Francisco 49ers, wants any part of this version of an improving Green Bay Packers football team in the playoffs.
Up next for the Packers, the Giants on Monday night. The city of the city of Waukesha, full of joy and cheer 2 years after tragedy at their annual Christmas parade.
Not a single frown in sight as the city of Waukesha celebrated their 60th annual Christmas parade. Everyone who attended was soaking in all the positive energy. Parade sponsor House of Hebron's executive director Kathleen Fisher tells WTMJ,
"We're all just looking out for each other. Everyone has smiles on their faces. It's just good to be a part of it."
Ascension Wisconsin Hospital had a Candyland theme for their float that truly represented the fun-loving parade atmosphere. CEO Dan Gale, in costume, says,
"I am the Candy King, making it fun-spirited while still remembering those that were impacted by the tragedy, enjoying the colorful lights and people. The energy is just great. Glad to be here."
Julian Johnson, WTMJ News.
Temperature of the rhetoric is rising in the Middle East today. Turkey's president predicting that the Israeli prime minister will one day face trial as a war criminal.
Speaking in Istanbul, Turkish President Erdogan calls Benjamin Netanyahu the butcher of Baghdad, a war criminal who he says will one day be tried, as was Slobodan Milosevic in the Bosnian conflict. By his calculation, he says there are 121 countries that say stop the war, while 3 to 5 give, in his words, carte blanche to Israel's attacks. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Everyone deals with frustration when it comes to failed phone calls or text messages. Well, it appears to be happening more often than it used to.
When was the last time you heard?
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number.
In 11 attempts out of 100, according to J.D. Power, your phone call, text message, or data just doesn't go through the first time. It was 9 out of 100 in 2021. And not just in rural areas, but in cities. And analysts say that's actually part of the problem. Too many people using their phones at the same time, and cellular providers struggling to keep up. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is down 161 to 36,083. The NASDAQ is down 239 to 14,065. And the S&P is down 46 to 45.48. Ready for investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary? Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:03.
Hi, Dennis from White Lace Inn here. Since 1982, Bonnie and I have been providing comfortable elegance, sincere hospitality, and romantic getaways at the White Lace Inn in beautiful Door County. The White Lace Inn, 18 incredible rooms and suites within 4 Victorian homes, each with a beautiful queen or king-size bed. Enjoy a romantic fireplace and the warmth of a whirlpool for two. White Lace Inn gift certificates. It's the perfect holiday gift, and it's so easy, you can do it right now from your computer. Go to whitelaceinn.com and take a tour of each room, and click on the gift certificate icon or give us a call. In a few days, you'll receive your gift certificate, which never expires, in the mail along with a brochure to put under the tree. A gift certificate for White Lace Inn. It's a wonderful idea. The White Lace Inn on the Door County Peninsula is open every night of the year. Check out our website now, whitelaceinn.com. The White Lace Inn in beautiful Door County.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
When you're in pain, you're all ears to any and everybody telling you they can help you. And at Rejuvenex, we're one of them. And there are others. But the difference here is that in most cases, insurance covers the cost of our treatments, because our proprietary and powerful pain relief treatments are FDA approved. Others, like bioregenerative options, aren't covered by insurance, because they're not FDA approved and considered experimental. At Rejuvenex, our treatments are precisely administered to where your pain lives, to cushion and lubricate your affected areas to deliver long-lasting pain relief, sometimes as long as 2 years before our next treatment is needed. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief. Really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Time now for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Total team win. And you know what's scary? We're starting to believe.
Oh, believe it, Packers fans. The team believes it. If the postseason began today, the Packers would be in. They are 6-6. Big win over the Chiefs on Sunday night. Up next, the New York Giants in New York next Monday night. Knockout round of the in-season NBA tournament starts tomorrow night for the Milwaukee Bucks. Home game against the Knicks. If they win, they head to the Final Four, which would take place in Vegas. Time now for a look at the roads. WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving. Time saver traffic. 94 eastbound, Highway 16, through the zoo and into the city. So far, so good for the most part. You should be all right there getting into downtown. Should be about a 17-minute ride. 4145 southbound Highway Q to the zoo. That's on time. Right now, it's about a 15 to 16-minute trip. Heads up on 41 further north as you're heading up toward Fond du Lac County. We are seeing some fender benders and whatnot on the roadways there, so just be mindful of that. Some disabled vehicles on the shoulders there. 43 southbound Brown Deer Road into downtown. Still going to see some brake lights as you're rolling through the construction getting into downtown there. And 94 northbound from Layton into the Marquette on time. That should be about an 8-minute trip.
Traffic is sponsored by Harwood Place Senior Living. Learn more about Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing options. Visit harwoodplace.org or call to schedule a tour.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast for the day today. Should be a nice day. Partly cloudy, a high of about 40 degrees. Could see a little bit of snow roll in starting tonight. Light snow tonight. and a low of 32. For Tuesday, light morning snow, maybe an inch or less than that, a high of 41 by the time we're done with it tomorrow, Tuesday. Wednesday, partly sunny, high of 41. Thursday, a high of 50. Friday, a high of 54 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, 40. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:07.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning, everybody. Happy Victory Monday. Yes, Green Bay Packers took care of business last night. Kansas City Chiefs at Lambeau was at the game. Shout out to Pat, who I just walked into the stadium, came running up and said, "Hey, I watched you on the stream on WTMJ radio." And I said, "Awesome." Very, very nice gentleman. So thanks to Pat for making my night. Always nice to meet people. I'm not one of these people that like shuns if you want to come up and say hi, I look forward to that. Now, if you're in the healthcare field, if you come up and do that, I will buy you your first drink. I've had that deal for like 4 years. I don't know that I've done it more than 20 times, but it's always fun because we always have great conversations when we do that. So that offer still stands. Healthcare workers, you see me out and about, I will buy you your first drink. All right. So today's an interesting day on WTMJ. I host a talk show, 9 to noon, right here on WTMJ Radio. And typically we utilize the talk and text, right? So phones and text. Well, we don't have either one of those things today. So you're going to get me. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things in the next 2 hours. But we had guests lined up, and apparently the guests can't even call in. So it will be an interesting challenge, but I'm up for it. We're going to make this work. I'm starting with this. Now the way you can react with me, 2 ways. So I'm gonna go, not old school. Email's kind of old school. You can email me at steve.scaffidi2f1d@wtmj.com. Steve.scaffidi2f1d@wtmj.com. Lori's already done that. Lori says, "Glad you got to go to the game last night." Thanks for that email, Lori. And so we're working through all that stuff. I made my show, and the other one is, of course, Twitter. You can message me or just respond to my post on the X, formerly known as Twitter. And today's question is I think, very relevant question given the success of the Packers last night. And like a lot of you watched it on TV, most of you. I'm going to go home today and rest my very tired voice, which will be even more tired because I have an interview to do after the show today. An interview we're going to bring you on Wednesday, by the way, which is fascinating. Patrick Mullen from Marquette University and President Lovell will join us, looking at the historical perspective of leadership from George Washington to Joe Biden. Similarities, differences. That's going to be a great interview, probably about a half-hour interview on Wednesday. So looking forward to doing that. So you can also, as I said, message me or respond to my post on the Twitter. And again, I know everybody's not on Twitter, and I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I apologize for that. So, how many games do you think the Packers are going to win this year? So, if you remember, I picked 8 at the beginning. Then I scaled it back to 6 in the midst of that losing streak. And now, to be honest, it's got to be 9 to 10. And I'm looking at, I already have 200 votes on the show poll, which is a lot. And I'm sharing it again, so it'll be fresh in if you're on the X, fresh in your timeline. 7 to 8, about 14% of you said that. 7 to 8. 9 to 10, which is where I'm at now, 69%. And just for fun, I said, let's turn it up to 11. Little Spinal Tap reference. Oh, by the way, they're making a sequel to that movie, which is a bad decision. 14% of you, and a few other comments. I think 9 to 10 is realistic. They have a very, very easy schedule. Giants, Tampa, Minnesota, Bears. I'm missing one in there. Oh, Carolina Panthers, who are 1-11. And not to go all sports on you, sporty spice on you, but this is an interesting season all of a sudden. This is a season that has now playoff potential, which is stunning and shocking, where a lot of us didn't think that was the case. And it also demonstrates loudly and clearly. And look, I love sports people. I listen, when I'm not doing the show, I listen to a lot of sports talk, national, local. And they're all great people, and I work with a tremendous number of them who work with us at ESPN 94.5. But they've got the takes like everybody else does. We all have these takes that we throw out there. And if you don't have a radio show, you do it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the X. And there's fan enthusiasm, and then there's just outright, God, I hope this works out. I heard the word Super Bowl mentioned. Now, this is not a Super Bowl team, I don't think. And you talk about getting out in front of your skis, that's really far out in front of your skis. And when you do that, you're going to get in some trouble. You're going to flip over, head over tails, and probably break your kneecaps and other things going down a frozen ski hill. So don't do that. But as I said earlier with Mike Spalding, this brings back the credibility of this franchise. There's a lot of questions. Brian Gutekunst, is he the guy? Matt LaFleur, is he just a Rodgers coach and not a Packers coach? We're not sure. Maybe. And if you get a chance, I put it out on the X early this morning. Watch his locker room talk. Maybe if we can get Charlie to work on that at some point. Well, it's got to be heavily edited because he's dropping a lot of cuss words. But the passion's incredible. And the reaction of his very young team. Oh, by the way, the youngest team in the NFL. I didn't watch the NBC broadcast. I will watch it this afternoon. I don't know if they mentioned that on the broadcast or not. This is the youngest team in the NFL, who I don't think most of us thought had any chance of winning that game. But be honest with yourself. Had any chance of winning that game. And here we are. So if you get a chance, vote on that. So we're going to talk about a lot of things in the hour and 45 left. Trump gagged again. We should have Dave Spano. I'm hopeful that we have Dave Spano at 10:35. There's a mystery illness that's impacting young people that I want to talk about. It's called white lung. If you haven't read this story, Google it so you know what you're talking about. We're going to talk social media with a in-studio guest. I'm hopeful about that. And here's a big one. And now this is where we could really use the talking text. Should new cars, new vehicles, trucks, cars, have kill switches that can detect when someone is impaired, an impaired driver? Kind of interesting debates. We'll have that debate later in the show. Lots of fun to be had. We'll continue the all-me version of that. I was going to say that's what Steve said, because that's what it is, with our phones and text out on this Monday, Victory Monday, beating the Super Bowl champs in Lambeau. Last night's quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this. Congratulations to our very own Jeff Wagner, retiring after 25 years on WTMJ.
No show lasts forever. I'm going to be retiring from WTMJ at the end of this year.
But he's not done yet.
Congrats early on your tournament.
Well, I'm around for another 2 months. Can't get rid of me before December 15th.
Keep tuning in and don't miss out on our send-off to the one and only Jeff Wagner. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
With choking inflation affecting so many families, you can still enjoy a super affordable meal at the famous Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I am a huge Mind Chef fan. It's been locally family-owned for over 46 years. Delicious food, huge portions, holiday lights and decorations that are spectacular. It's a fun atmosphere. So don't cook and clean today. The Mind Chef will serve you. Most breakfasts are $8.99 or less. Mondays are family pizza day. A huge 18-inch pizza is just $14.99. Easily feeds a family of 4. Tuesday, the Mexican buffet is all you can eat and only $9.99. It's the best Tuesday dining value anywhere for under $10. The homemade fresh desserts are buy one, get one free. I love the desserts. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. The holiday decorations will make you smile. Stop for happy hour today. Beers, cocktails, and appetizers are half price from 2 to 5. Stop today. Just walk in. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead AccuNet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed-rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at Accunet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at Accunet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ Now.
I want to give some love to a local community. It's not my community of Oak Creek. It's Franklin, Wisconsin, which, if you don't know, is immediately west of Oak Creek. Of course, the common border along 27th Street. So my wife and I are always looking for things to do on the weekend, and they have an event, a holiday event out there for the month. And I was going to be joined by Mike Zimmerman, and we'll talk to him sometime this week. This is amazing. And the folks in Franklin know the area of the Rock very well. And Mike Zimmerman, president of the Rock Ventures, putting on this fantastic Enchant holiday light show. It is absolutely spectacular. Now, I'm not the most Christmassy guy. I don't really, I try to put the minimum amount of lights on my house. I don't have like a lot of outside decoration. But when you walk into this, it's basically set in one of their ballparks. 100-foot tall lighted Christmas tree. 4 million lights. They have a maze, a marketplace, ice skating. Matter of fact, I was going to chide my friends in Oak Creek because we had talked about an ice skating rink in the Drexel Town Square area for years. So I said I had to go all the way to Franklin to go watch kids ice skate in the center of this incredible village that they've set up. Great food, great beverages, including some holiday drinks, hot chocolate with Bailey's, highly recommend. But I brought it up because this is something I've noticed with local leadership. There's a lot of focus now on developments because with Act 10, the only way to really grow your tax base is to develop your community, to add developments and growth. And that allows you to do more things. And cities that are, unable to add anything or don't have any land to do it, they are really tasked with making some really tough decisions. And I know that The Rock has had issues, sound issues. I've had Mike Zimmerman on the show. I've had county board supervisors. Here's the thing. For all those folks who complain about noise and sound, one, it's not constant 24/7, 365. It's usually event-based. It's not at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's probably not even at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's in the evening. Set that aside. Where local leaders can start to figure things out, and I talk about this a lot away from the show when somebody asks me my opinion on some of this stuff, whether it's big cities, Milwaukee, Waukesha, north of Milwaukee, wherever it is, outlying urban areas or rural areas of the state. The way that local leaders can make their communities attractive is to understand the experience parts of living in a community. What do I mean by that? What do you offer your residents beyond grocery stores, gas stations, a public library? What else do you offer? Do you have a gathering place? What kind of events do you hold there? Are the events unique? Are you thinking outside the box? One of the cool things about Enchant in Franklin at the Rock is it's, I think, one of 8 across the United States. And I can tell you, since I walked through it extensively Friday night, and it wasn't the best night, it was kind of rainy and wet, it will blow you away. And you want a holiday experience, to use that word experience again, that's it. All of this stuff takes risks by leaders, whether that's private or public. And understanding that this is a time where people have choices about where to live, what to do, how they spend their money. We talk all the time about people having challenges with their budgets. But I saw, on a rainy, cold night, I saw a tremendous crowd celebrating the holidays, enjoying the light shows, enjoying the marketplace and the food and drink and all that stuff, in a venture that celebrates the experience, in this case, the south side of Milwaukee County, city of Franklin. That's the best PR this city could have on anything. I wonder if the local leaders from Franklin understand that. That a private business is enhancing your public experience. It's far too rare. So for all the NIMBYs, not in my backyard, the complainers who want to live apparently in this world where your backyard is next to a field or a forest when you don't even own that field or forest, and your expectation is it's always going to remain that way because I like it. First, unrealistic. Two, if you like it so much, buy it. And three, things will change. The Milwaukee County or Milwaukee or Madison or Green Bay of 1950 is not the fill all those cities back in experience of 2023. Things will change, hopefully for the good. Smart cities understand the experience that you provide, not just for your residents or your tax base, but for people who come to the community. I'm guessing that those thousands of people that I saw on Friday night in Franklin all didn't live in Franklin. And I understand, talking to Mike Zimmerman, this isn't an easy decision to make. It's expensive. The setup has got to be just mind-boggling because you're literally in a village of lights, surrounded by it. The setup is perfect. The experience delivers for kids. They can go through the maze. They can go through these light tunnels. That's what we should be doing and thinking about, whether it's at the holiday time or any time. And if you're a local leader in the state of Wisconsin or wherever you're at, and you're not thinking experience as the add-on to your community, maybe you're in love with development, what's the next business we're getting, but you're not thinking about the experience of living and enjoying a community, then you're only doing half the job. And I get that sexy. And it allows bureaucrats and local leaders to spend a lot of time in their offices on the phone, at meetings, where the public's not invited, making deals. But your residents and visitors to your community, they don't see that. They want the experience. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Simple things that local communities can do. Pick up your garbage. I drive around this area lots. It is stunning to me. The amount of garbage on our streets, in our parks, in our transitional areas, along freeways. If you spend some time, and it takes time, picking that up, you've already improved the image of your community. If you slow your traffic down, so you're not having a runway or a racetrack along the major venues and highways of your city, it's more attractive to residents and people who visit there. Experience matters. And for the folks in Franklin, I hope you appreciate what is going on out there. I was blown away by it. And again, I'm not a Christmassy guy. I enjoy the holiday for the family, not for the presents, but the family part of it. But for one night, or maybe you go more than one night, Enchant in Franklin, it absolutely blew me away, blew my socks off. Great example of local leadership, not from a elected leader, but a business leader. So well done, Rock Ventures. Well done, Franklin. Hopefully that's a cooperative partnership, because that's what it should be, because it's enhancing your experience in Franklin. So if you get a chance, check it out. 76 in Rawson, Enchant, and we might be joined by Mike Zimmerman at some point later in this week. If you haven't been listening to the whole show, our phones and texts are down today, so it's just me. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. We will have a live studio guest, though, I think at 11:08, so that'll break it up a little bit. If you want to get a hold of me, email works, steve.scaffidi2fs1d at WTMJ.com, Or you can respond or message me on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at WTMJ Steve. And my show poll is up. How many games do you think the Packers will win this year? Right now, 218 votes, 9-10 with 70% of the vote. I love the confidence, Packers fans. Let's keep it rolling. Quick break here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Oh, I'm already running late. Let's go.
There is a backup on I-94 eastbound.
Wait, is that Debbie Lazaga?
Expect delays.
Well, how bad is it?
Alternate routes will help you in your journey.
I feel better.
Get where you need to go calmly with traffic reporter Debbie Lazaga only on News Radio WTMJ.
Follow me on social.
We keep you safe, warm and dry, Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm and dry, Semper Fi.
Companies are in the midst of open enrollment. I know we are here at Good Karma Brands with R&R Insurance. To shed some light on the topic is Jeff Salasinski, VP of Insurance Operations.
Thank you, Vince. A benefit understood is a benefit appreciated. Knowing how to best communicate your benefits will help your employees understand their options, guide their decision-making, and increase their sense of value and engagement. R&R Insurance can show your business how to use your benefit program to attract and retain employees. In this tight labor market, you need every competitive advantage.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
At R&R Insurance, we help employers brand their benefit packages in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion, taking out the complex and confusing nature of shopping for health insurance. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy, immediate access to benefit information for themselves and their families 24/7. At R&R Insurance, we know employee benefits.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
WTMJ Now.
Coming up in a few minutes, the guy, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management, will talk to some of his teammates Friday. He'll join us to talk about the latest financial planning, economic trends, breaking news across the world of money and the economy. That's coming up in about, 7 minutes or so. Real quick, I was going to spend some time on this, but it's a little challenging without having phones or text. President Trump, former President Donald Trump, under a gag order again, civil fraud trial in New York. There's, of course, many other cases involving the former president that he's sort of pushing the envelope. I'll say this about this story. None of this is charted territory. We've never had a former president act in the way this former president is acting. And I was going to say save the text, but I don't have to worry about that. I caught myself, almost. It's not the conduct of a president. Let's just put it that way. To physically call out people who are doing their job, clerks, judges. You don't have to like it, and you are allowed some discretion to criticize, but there's danger and a threat of violence attached to handing out information about where these people are and who they are, where they live, to your, let's just say, enthusiastic followers. There's a real moment. I'm going to spend, in the next year, I'm going to spend a weekly segment talking about the Trump trials and a lot of the things that are happening when it comes to the legal system here in Wisconsin with the Supreme Court, some of their potential cases they're going to be looking at from the perspective of what should or shouldn't happen. Not just my perspective, but subject matter experts, journalists, political strategists, elected officials. And you'll notice a lot of voices will be part of that experience. And that's a good thing. I've been talking to a lot of journalists lately about what the next year will bring. And for Donald Trump, there's this moment of reckoning I think that's going to happen fairly soon here. And the question is this: what do you do to a president who can't control himself? What do you do with a president who goes past free speech to that dangerous world where you're inciting violence or causing violence by the words and the manner in which you conduct yourself? Will a judge be brave enough to say to him, you know what, house arrest, you're staying in Mar-a-Lago, you're not going or talking about anything? Because I don't see a scenario where you're going to put him in a jail cell. I just don't. I do see a scenario where you say enough is enough, shut the hell up. I understand it's a former president. But there's a time where we have to maintain the legal system. We've already seen the erosion of confidence at every level of government, every agency and organization now challenged. I'm still putting my list together, so I'll break that out at some point this week of 75 different things we are told not to trust anymore. And it's stunning and shocking and sad. And I would have thought, after this great history of ours, that presidents, former or otherwise, would always be trustworthy and someone you could put your faith in. Whether that's the current president or the former president or past presidents. I'm not sure that's the case anymore. We'll take a break here. After the break, the one, the only Dave Spano will join us right here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
One of Milwaukee's most cherished holiday traditions returns to the Bradley Symphony Center when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Holiday Pops December 14th through the 19th. Tickets to some performances are nearly sold out, so reserve yours now by calling 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org. Conductor and trumpeter Byron Stripling will lead the MSO in chorus, plus Broadway sensation Mamie Paris in a festive mix of carols, classics, and sing-along numbers for all ages. Don't miss this Yuletide treat. Holiday Pops runs December 14th through the 19th with 2 performances on Saturday, December 16th. Bring yourself, your special someone, or the whole family and delight in the holiday season with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. The number again for tickets is 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. It's WTMJ Now.
Here's another voice besides mine. Dave Spano, President and CEO of NX Wealth Management. He joins us every Monday, 10:35-ish, and also hosts a Money Talker every Saturday morning right here on WTMJ. Good morning, Dave Spano.
Good morning. How was Taylor Swift?
I didn't spend a lot of time on Taylor Swift. Everyone around me. There was Binocs on, not on the game, Dave.
Yeah.
I was focused on the game.
Turned around watching her red dress, I suppose, right? Her red coat.
Yeah, red coat, black dress. But you know what? I said this earlier, and we'll get to the important stuff, but I think some of this stuff is actually good for Green Bay. It raises the profile a little bit to have celebrities. We also had Tony Shalhoub there, Wisconsin native. He got a nice ovation. So that's kind of the coolness of Green Bay on a cold night in December at Lambeau.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people were watching that game, all around the country, and so it was certainly a great game, good win for the Pack, no question about it, a little controversial at the end of the game. But
you watched it, or were you at the game?
No, I did not go. How did that go?
So what did you think, not to get too down the road of football, but what did you think of the last minute of the game? A little shaky on the officials.
Well, on both sides. I mean, first of all, my son, he played football. And, the first thing he said, well, first of all, that clock should not have stopped, because if you are going backwards when you go out of bounds, that clock's not supposed to stop. So that was one of them. Clearly the hit on Mahomes was questionable, and there's no question that, at least in my mind, that was a pass interference. Not the one in the end zone, but the one on Scanlon. So, there was a bunch of controversial calls, and certainly looked like it, but I hope it didn't deter from what a great effort it was throughout the entire game.
Yeah, bottom line is they give us some optimism about what the rest of the season will hold, and it makes us want to cheer them on. All right, so do we have optimistic or pessimistic for the last 4 weeks of the year?
Well, I'll tell you, we've had one heck of a run, and, here we sit at the highs of the year, 52-week high, and the Dow has been doing great. The S&P had one of its best months ever, top 10 of months ever that it had, best month in 3 years. And so there's no question that it has been a good year. You look at, is there a divergence, of course, in what has done well and what hasn't? The NASDAQ up 46%. And so, that's not obviously the entire market. The S&P was up 20%, but people are going to look at their portfolios and go, why didn't I get that? It's because those big 7 companies really drove the performance throughout the year. And if you were in some more stodgy stocks or slower moving stocks, you did not participate. For example, utilities index down 8% through the year. So it really was, I often pound the table, as you well know, to know what you own and why you own it. Really how you compose your portfolio is driving it. But to answer your question, what are we optimistic? We are. There's probably going to be some gains that are going to be taken between now and the end of the year. Some tax planning probably should be done between now and the end of the year. But it sets up 2024 for interest rate cuts, and the market should like that. It's kind of taking that news in. And so I would still argue for a balanced portfolio.
That was my next question on interest rates. So for the consumers out there, interest rates on their credit cards, their debts, car loans, home loans, is higher than it was, let's say, a year and a half ago. So how much of a risk are those levels of the interest they're paying on their debt to what happens in 24 and 2025?
Well, it's started to peak out. You can see the mortgage rates have turned around a little bit, and hopefully that helps the home sellers, because home sales have been down. You look at some of these ISM reports, which are, kind of the health of different parts of the country. They have been down. There's a thing called the Beige Book, Steve, and they take these 12 areas of the country and they look at, are you doing well in the south? Are you doing well in the north, the east and west, and so forth? And half of those were showing contraction. So it kind of throws it in the face of how can you have this negative news and the stock market doing well, and that is because of these interest rates. When interest rates look like they've at least peaked and starting to come back down, the market's like that because two things happen. Number one, companies that are paying interest, they can pay less. That's number one. And of course, bonds do better as interest rates come back down as well. So there's two things that are happening that is getting some good performance out of both the bonds and the stocks right now.
Dave Spano joining us on WTMJ now, and you can always check out annexwealth.com. The Get Started button will literally get you started on the path to a solid financial plan. So one of the other things that people are talking about is job growth data. So where are we at right now? How is that looking? How does that indicate some of the workforce challenges that the big manufacturers, big companies in this country are facing?
Yeah, and it goes back to that ISM report. If you started to see contraction, companies, one of the things that they're going to do is pull back. You saw a number of companies come out and say they're going to cut back some of their workforce, but you look at a bigger picture, and right now the unemployment rate's still under 4%. And so that is, I'm not saying that they're going to, make this happen where they can have a slowing economy and not have a recession. But it is a possibility that they do this, and so that we're going to watch that. But you can start to see job cuts around in different industries, Steve. And we're going to continue to say if that happens, if we get an unemployment rate that does not spike, there is a possibility that they will get the soft landing. As you know, throughout the year, when all of these economists, when 90% of the economists were talking about the recession that we were going to have in 23, I said move slowly because unemployment continues to stay low. Interest rates are still, they're still okay. And so those two things together allow the GDP to grow. And when the consumer spends, you have positive GDP, you do not have a recession. In the last quarter, third quarter, the recession, the GDP number was 5%, and they expect 2% in the fourth quarter. So when you have positive GDP, you do not have a recession.
So one of the things that people ask me about, and I get a lot of emails usually after your appearance at my WTMJ account, is this just about big investors, AnnexWealth.com? And I always say, no, it's not. You should actually start when you're young and you're working and start thinking about what's going to happen 30 or 40 years from now, because that, Dave, puts you in the best possible situation you could ever be in.
Listen, financial planning is for everyone, and we have 3 different levels that we give to people. And so if you're just getting started, we've developed a vertical. It's called Annex Ignite, and so that is for everybody. We have Annex Comprehensive Wealth, which is most people, and that's, people come in and they say, I do need to meet with an advisor. I do want to do the financial planning, tax planning, and estate planning. And then we have Annex Private Client, which is a certain number of dollars that we work with, and they get a different experience. So they're all 3 across, financial plans for everyone. If you want to come in and you're an Annex Ignite and you are going to fit into that, that's fine. Most of our clients are Annex Comprehensive Wealth. I'd say probably more than 80%.
Remaining time in 2023, what should we be looking to?
Well, there's no question. First of all, I wanted to bring up the fact that this past week we lost Charlie Munger, and Charlie was Warren's. He was his right hand, and he had some lines. I have to tell you, there were so many funny lines that he had throughout. But one of the things that he did is he was a voracious reader, and he used to tell people, "Go to bed smarter than what you woke up." But he had some funny lines. Like he would say, for example, "If you want ants, put some sugar on the floor." He just would say these crazy things, right? And they used to have these events back in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's the big one, right, where all the financial planners go to it, right?
Exactly. We used to call it the Woodstock for financial geeks.
That's right.
And people would go and watch, and these 2 guys were phenomenal. He was with Warren Buffett for most of his career, 50, 60 years, died at the young age of 99.
Yeah.
So he had some great lines, and of course, we should celebrate his life. But your question, what should we look through? We look for declining interest rates in 2024 while we're having an election. That'll be the story. What is the Fed going to do, and how is it going to affect the election? Politics and economics do collide in the short term. So what will we look for? Look for interest rates to start coming down. The Fed is starting to suggest you might see 3 or 4 rate cuts in 2024. We'll have to see.
Well, after a couple of years of them going up, that'll be interesting to see that the breath of fresh air. Real quick, because you mentioned Warren Buffett, what did Warren Buffett know that the rest of us didn't?
Patience. For sure, his patience is to buy good companies at fair prices instead of trying to buy a company that is cheap. I used to say, sometimes companies are cheap for a reason, but patience in buying great companies with great management is certainly a Warren Buffettism.
All right, the one and only Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management. Just go to AnnexWealth.com. The Get Started button will literally get you started on a path to financial planning that takes care of your future and your family and future generations. Always a pleasure, Dave Spano.
Nice talking to you, Steve. Have a good week.
All right. Happy Monday to all of you. Happy Victory Monday. We'll take a break here as we round out the 10 o'clock hour. We actually might have a live studio guest at 11, so another voice that's not me today on this day of no texts and no phone calls on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Get the gift of savings Friday through Sunday, in-store only during Fleet Fest at Fleet Farm. Get a $10 gift card when you buy $50 in toys for the kids. Take an extra 20% off all varieties of wild bird food. And save $10 instantly on any $75 purchase for a limited time only with our seasonal savings coupon. Shop in-store this Friday through Sunday for even more Fleet Fest deals at Fleet Farm, where we have everything you need for everyone on your list.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
When you're in pain, you're all ears to any and everybody telling you they can help you. And at Rejuvenex, we're one of them. And there are others. But the difference here is that in most cases, insurance covers the cost of our treatments because our proprietary and powerful pain relief treatments are FDA approved. Others, like bioregenerative options, aren't covered by insurance because they're not FDA approved and considered experimental. At Rejuvenex, our treatments are precisely administered to where your pain lives, to cushion and lubricate your affected areas to deliver long-lasting pain relief, sometimes as long as 2 years before a next treatment is needed. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief. Really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Set your independence in motion. It starts with PACE at Community Care. The program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, also known as PACE, offers complete medical and long-term care services. A team of dedicated healthcare professionals coordinates all aspects of care to support independent living as long as possible. Learn more about a community that cares. Visit joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE. That's joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE.
The holiday season is right around the corner. Give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Give them a Steel. Visit your local Steel dealer or go to steelusa.com/gift guide.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead AccuNet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at AccuNet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at AccuNet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ Now.
Thanks to Dave Spano for joining me on the phoneless, textless Monday, Victory Monday. Beat the Super Bowl champs Monday here in Wisconsin and beyond, because we're talking about America's team here, the world's favorite football team, football in the NFL sense, Green Bay Packers. All right, so have you seen this story? I saw a couple stories over the weekend on it. It's called white lung pneumonia, and it's really right now centered on the state of Ohio. They've had a spike in cases. Children getting respiratory cases, generally between the age of 3 and 14. Now, this got a lot of attention because in China they're having a different pneumonia outbreak. From what I'm reading, the two things aren't related. And some news sources, however, are actually making the link. But U.S.-centered medical professionals are saying that this is not the same thing. Now, as we learn with COVID, what you know at the beginning and what you know at the end are vastly different. So, pump the brakes. Why is this bad? Because it's raising the alarms at a time when young people, even adults, are going into the winter months, spending more time inside, spending more time close contact. And most of the professionals in Ohio are saying, we're not going to get too panicked right now, but they're still looking at what this is and why we're seeing the higher rates. So still early. It's not a new virus. It's not a new COVID-19. It's not a novel virus. No deaths have been recorded. Most of the children that get it are just recovering at home. And I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of medical terms. It's a streptococcus pneumonia, and there's a lot more attached to that, but I'm not going to go there. The ones in China are influenza, rhinoviruses, mycoplasma pneumonia. So I'm doing it anyway. So the international story is interesting because they're spreading in places like Denmark, China, other countries. And basically what happens in those cases is it shows, when you do an x-ray of someone's lungs, it shows a whitening of the lungs, right? And one of the things we learned from COVID is the impact on COVID patients and their lungs, their capacity, the need for respirators, and just the urgency of that illness when it comes to just breathing. So that's why this has caused a concern especially among parents. I bring this up because it's going to be illustrative of something that I've talked about for a while. It's the public's reaction to these stories. Because of the instantaneous social media, second by second, microsecond by microsecond world we live in now, many of these stories take on greater significance. And the public, let's be honest, overreacts to these stories. And whatever you think about COVID and the government response and the public response and the masks and the vaccines, it's changed our perception and our reaction to medicine, science, health professionals, and just my 2 cents, not in a good way. I mean, social media has too much power to begin with. And I caution people to spend a lot of time not listening to elected officials on this. If I've learned anything, and if you've learned anything, their response, I don't even care what party you're attaching yourself to, their response to any medical issue is not worthy of the paper or the recording that it's recorded on. Make sense? There's too much politics, too little science in the discussion and the reaction of the public towards these issues. And whether it's white lung syndrome or COVID-19 or long COVID or any RSV, there's so much noise out there. And as somebody who has gotten off of Facebook, utilizes Twitter or X now, primarily as a work tool, I still spend a lot of time looking at X or Twitter. And some of the discourse is as mind-numbingly stupid as you could ever have. Doesn't mean it all is. There's some good content as well. But some of it is harmful, dangerous, and just outright wrong. So somebody asked me when I was talking about this away from the show, well, what do you do about it? Talk to your doctor. Don't get your advice from your uncle who lives in Germany, who's gone through whatever, or the crazy internet conversations that, frankly, are filled with nonsense and not much of real value. Ignore those. Talk to your doctor. They've put the time in. They know you. I've had the same primary doctor for 30-some years. There's nothing about me that he doesn't know. Dr. Bill Steinman. Nothing about me he doesn't know. And that relationship is one of the reasons I think that I go have my annual physical, listen to him. Somebody made this comparison last week to me when we were talking about this. Remember when you were a kid? This is now my age or slightly younger. And something happened at school, you were wrong and you went home. Your parents didn't criticize the school or the teacher or the administrator. They pointed at you and said, what did you do? Don't do it again. Well, because of the politics of our response in the general public to COVID and all the other things I talked about, that same reaction is appropriate not appropriate, it is what you see when we have any of these conversations about outbreaks of any sorts when it comes to health. More politics, less science. And if there's a fundamental flaw in our country and our world right now, it's the degradation of subject matter experts, real ones, not fake ones, the over-reliance on political leaders, elected officials, candidates for any information related to the world we live in. And some desire, I guess, to use public discourse in place of intelligent, honest, fact-based, common sense, logic-filled reality. Make sense? All right, we're going to take an early break here. a longer break for news, and then after the break, a live studio guest on a day of no text, no phone calls, a challenging day on WTMJ, especially with my post-Packers voice, which is going to make it through this day. Coming back strong tomorrow. Quick break for news. We're going to talk about some social media and all the risks that are out there with social media. That's next on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Looking for a fun family activity to get in the holiday spirit? Visit or volunteer for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive in Grafton on Saturday, December 9th. It's a totally free event. Capco is dedicated to bringing communities together and has collected nearly 300,000 toys through Kids to Kids, and still counting. Join us and WTMJ for a celebration of giving and bring a new unwrapped toy to help children in need this holiday season. To support, visit kidstoKidstoydrive.com.
And don't forget to bring toys.
Give their favorite gift this holiday season with the 2024 Brewers Kids Crew Kit presented by U.S. Bank. Each kit sets up for an epic new year with 6 ticket vouchers, a ballpark tour, and exclusive Kids Crew swag, including a Brewers City Connect jersey. Check off everything on their wish list for just $35. Order by December 17th for guaranteed holiday delivery. Learn more at brewers.com/kidscrew.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Johnson & Sons Paving. Now's the time to get on the schedule with your commercial paving project for 2024. Booking work in the winter helps you budget and puts the Johnson & Sons design team to work. 2 civil engineers on staff, superintendents and foremen with 2 decades experience. There is nothing they have not seen. They can think outside the box and deliver the parking lot or drive you need in the budget you can afford. Plenty of Johnsons over there, no subcontractors. JohnsonandSonsPaving.com. That's JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Annex Wealth Management, investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
Here's a great way to brighten up your Monday and Tuesday during the holiday season. John Mercure from WTMJ. Check this out. Enjoy a free dinner tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club, voted the best supper club in the area. I love the Fox and Hounds. It is a super special place. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner's free. Enjoy your favorite steak, seafood, ribs, a big fresh salad, salmon, even the steak and lobster. Your second dinner is free, F-R-E-E, free. Sip on a delicious old-fashioned Manhattan bourbon, over 100 wines, ice-cold beer. The Fox and Hounds has been transformed into a winter wonderland with thousands of lights and decorations inside and out. It is magical, a true must-see. Feel the warmth of the 7 real wood-burning fireplaces as soon as you walk in the door. The Fox and Hound sits in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest, right near Holy Hill. The drive is absolutely stunning. Tables are open. Reserve at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Enjoy your free dinner tonight. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Are you sick of all the fancy charts and investment mumbo-jumbo thrown at you to justify the Wall Street fees you're being charged? It's not the size of your nest egg that matters, but rather the income it can produce. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who have retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right, if the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better, stress-free retirement, call today to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie, The Retirement Deception. Call 800-857-7979. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call right now. 800-857-7979. 800-857-7979. That's 800-857-7979.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
7 o'clock, it is 38 degrees. Today we're going to have partly sunny skies, a high of 40. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. The Packers, a confident bunch following their big win over the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday night at Lambeau Field.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur couldn't contain his excitement after the game.
Total team win. And you know what's scary? We're starting to believe.
A young team that believes it can win is a dangerous one, says ESPN Milwaukee's Mark Tauscher.
It's a powerful combination when you have a really good young team growing, and then they start believing that they can do it.
If the season ended today, the Packers would be in the playoffs, and Tausch says they'd be a worthy opponent.
There's nobody that wants to play this football team.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Up next for the Packers, New York Giants on Monday Night Football next week. 2 people have been found dead inside a home in West Dallas over the weekend. TMJ4 Sydney Orr following the story.
The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner responded to a home on South 57th Street on Saturday, just steps away from the Hank Aaron Trail. And that's where bodies of a 50-year-old man and a 75-year-old woman were found. Police believe both appeared to have died from gunshot wounds, and they believe they found the weapon that was used. Investigators made a point to note that they are not looking for any suspects.
No other details, however, have been released as of this morning. While home prices in the Milwaukee area have continued to increase year over year, there are some indications that the market may be cooling down a little bit. Milwaukee Business Journal editor-in-chief Mark Cass says any hope of price reductions becoming the new norm depends on those interest rates.
We've had years and years of, 4, 5, 6 offers on one house, people being asked to drop their home inspections to make these deals happen. So we'll see how that rolls into 24. I think it'll all depend on interest rates. What will happen? Will they start to head down after the last 18 months of going up?
According to Realtor.com, in October, the median listing home price in Milwaukee was $179,000. That's trending up 2% year over year. And now continuing with news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, and everything's in the red. The Dow is down 138. The S&P is down a little bit over 33. That's down almost 0.75%. The NASDAQ down over 1%. It is down 160. Ready for investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary? Go to annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 11:03.
This report's sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
Where did the time go? These trips around the sun whiz by faster and faster. And now a new year is here. A new season is upon us. But it's more than just the winter season. We look forward to a new season of grace, peace, and civility. But we won't see a season of change until we change. Until we start listening instead of shouting. Until we see each other as allies and not adversaries. Until we put others first and our agendas last. Change starts with our words, our actions, and our hearts. Be grateful. Be present. Be kind. Give a smile and a compliment. Donate time or money to a charity. Send an email praising excellent customer service. And never underestimate the power of saying please and thank you, because yours may be the only one they hear today. Here's to the changing season. May it be change for the better. A holiday wish from Mr. Holland's Home Services.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Time for for a WTMJ Sports Update. The Packers a huge win under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football at Lambeau Field, 27-19, the final score over the Kansas City Chiefs. Packers now in playoff position. Green Bay right now the number 7 seed in the NFC playoff race 13 weeks into the regular season. And on the hardwood, Bucks return to action tomorrow versus the Knicks. That's going to be the quarterfinal of the brand new in-season tournament. Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons paving time saver. Traffic looks like we're really only seeing one highway a little bit slow, and it's not even too bad. 43 southbound is slow, but it's only about a 3-minute delay from Brown Deer Road to downtown. That's going to be a 14-minute ride. Everything else is looking good. There seems to be no accidents up on the board right now, so it should be a smooth ride with just a little bit of delays as you head south of Capitol Drive on 43 southbound.
More of
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. On Monday today, it's going to be partly sunny with a high of 40. Tonight, we got a chance of some snow, a low of 32. Tuesday, light morning snow. It's going to be an accumulation of less than 1 inch, though. Just a little bit of a dusting, a high of 41. Wednesday, partly sunny, a high of 41. Thursday, mostly sunny skies with a high of 50. And on Friday, partly cloudy with a high of 54. Right now in Madison, it's 35. Green Bay, it is 33. Waukesha, it's 35. And in Milwaukee, it is 38 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Sighting Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:07.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
And thanks for joining me on this phoneless, textless Monday. But we are enjoying the Victory Monday after the great win last night against the Chiefs at Lambeau Field, a game I attended, and I am losing my voice as we speak. But I've got an hour of show to do yet, and thankfully, in our phoneless, textless version of the program, WTMJ Now, a special guest has arrived, Josh Arter. He's the social media director for a company called Stir in Milwaukee. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it's one less period of time I have to talk when you're talking, so feel free to expound
More
or
than
expand
happy
the
to.
Conversation. So we'll get to some serious stuff, but I recently made a lifestyle choice. I got rid of Facebook. Is that a smart choice?
I guess it depends. I think the usage of social media has definitely shifted over the past couple of years. Back in the day, it was more of a way to share what you're doing, stay up to date with friends. I think there's a big trend in people who are maybe posting less to their social channels and more just kind of scrolling through to see what's going on.
Is Facebook still the dominant player, right?
Again, it depends. We've seen that Facebook has kind of started to skew towards an older audience where...
You can say it like me.
Whereas somebody who's a little younger, they might use Snapchat, especially TikTok, things like that.
Is TikTok the future? I know they have a lot of challenges, some legal.
Yeah.
Is that the future?
I would say right now they are really tapping into... So I also teach a adjunct class at Marquette about social media analytics and all of that stuff. And so with that shift towards entertainment, I think TikTok is really tapping into that. They're recognizing that it's crazy, but attention spans are short. People want to watch a quick, short video that's entertaining, something they can share with their friends and laugh about, and that's pretty much it. They're really also starting to really bulk up their e-commerce opportunities.
Right.
So you can be on TikTok, see a product that an influencer is promoting, you can buy it right there in-app, one click, done and done. So I think they're really keen and honing in on what their strengths are and really playing into that.
And one more, because you're an expert on it, and I just want to know, the Elon Musk factor with X, formerly known as Twitter. I mean, there's a lot to unwrap there, but he has made comments that if the drain or the fleeing of advertisers continues, you could see the site go away, the platform go away. Realistic or just a threat?
I think some of the things that he says, in terms of all of the advertisers and blackmail and all that stuff, I think a lot of it kind of seems reactionary. Some of the things that he's saying about it need to be taken with a grain of salt. I think personally, some of the things that he has been saying, if advertisers do go away and he has to lean more on,
subscriber content.
Content or some sort of, subscription tier kind of thing like that. Do I think people will stick around? Yes. Do I think people will try and find out what the next Twitter is? I could see that.
Is there an up and comer, something you've heard as an expert that, okay, this might be something that will be out there in the future that we can all look at?
There are a couple that are starting to bubble up. There was one called Be Real. It's kind of the anti-social media platform.
Now, what does that mean?
So if you scroll through Instagram, for example,
right,
you see all these very carefully, artistically curated photos that people are posting. The whole concept of Be Real is, every day randomly you're going to get a notification that says, take a picture of whatever you're doing right now. And so you open the app up, you take a picture, and that gets posted. So it's kind of that real, authentic look into what people are doing.
Hopefully they're not in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Josh Arter joining me, Stir's social media director. All right. The main reason you're here, other than I wanted to tap into some of your knowledge about social media, is one of the things, and this is not unique to social media, but the scams that are perpetrated against, I'll be honest, people of my age and older on social media, that's a real thing. And the number that some of your folks threw at me was people over 60 collectively lost $3.1 billion to internet fraud. Serious problem. Mm-hmm. So I guess the first question, is this a seasonal thing or is it just all the time?
It's all year round. That 3 billion numbers, 2022 in total. And so last year, in total, I think there were more than like 420 million some people that were victims of internet fraud. So while there are these terrible people doing these terrible things year round, especially during the holiday season.
And why is that?
There are a couple different ways that they tap into either getting your personal information or your bank account information or money from you. Holiday shopping is huge right now. Everybody wants to buy the latest and greatest hot item. And so a lot of these scammers will set up fake stores online. They look like the real deal, but they're selling these items that everybody wants at a, severely discounted price to kind of entice you to buy from them, give them your credit card information or your bank information so that, a product never gets shipped to you. Their money or your money goes directly into their bank account.
Bottom line is, if it's on social media and it looks like an ad, doesn't mean it's a real ad.
Correct.
Or that if they're asking you to buy something. Because I saw something about tennis shoes yesterday, really high level, high brand tennis shoes for like a ridiculously low price. My next question is, what are some of the warning or red flags that you should be thinking about if you're on social media, or maybe you have a friend or a family member that's older? What should you be looking at?
Sure. If a deal is too good to be true, trust your gut. It more than likely is. If you're on a website shopping that you're not familiar with, that's kind of where you start dipping your toes in. Make sure you're shopping from reputable brands that you are familiar with. Make sure you're on their official website. But if you find yourself on some of these, second or third market websites where the deals seem a little too good, things like spelling or grammatical errors, 9 times out of 10, these websites won't have like an About Us or a contact page. So they make it really easy to dig in to see if they're a real company, but also then if you place an order with them that's fraudulent, you never get your product, you want to get your money back, they make it incredibly difficult to get a phone number, email, to kind of contact them to fix all that.
I'm going to ask you about some of the specific ones that are going around, but it used to be the case, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you utilized, not all credit cards, but most credit cards, you were protected. It's different when you're using your bank funds, right? Because banks, typically, they will try to do, what they can. But if it's a credit card, are you still protected in the way that it used to be?
Yeah, honestly, 9 times out of 10, use your credit card. Banks are really good, especially credit card companies. They're really good at tracking fraud in general. So if they start to see some new trends that pop up, and you call and you say, "Hey, I fell victim to, this scam for, like a package said it was delivered and I clicked the link and it stole my information," that kind of thing. They're pretty good at reimbursing you for it.
We'll take a break here. We're joined by Josh Arter. He's from Stir. He's our social media director. Talking a lot about social media at the beginning of the segment. And I want to get to the tips and other things that we should be thinking about during the holidays. We're all buying stuff. I mean, that's not a unique experience. Everybody's online buying stuff, and if you drive down a neighborhood street right now, 99 times out of 100, you'll see packages sitting on somebody's front porch, and that's a whole nother level of security that we have to talk about. So tips to prevent some of that. What to do maybe if you find yourself involved in one of these things, and maybe some telltale signs. You mentioned a couple, grammatical errors, funky-looking websites, other things that we should be looking for as we're talking about the risk of internet fraud, which is real all year round, as Josh said, but especially during the holidays. We'll take a quick break here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
Time to check in with Mark Hass, editor-in-chief of the Milwaukee Business Journal.
How they fight against the Cubs. It's tough because of this market.
Entertainment.
Matt Miller from OnMilwaukee.com.
It takes a lot to make a big movie.
And more.
Chef Adam Pollock.
Our city in general has really been growing.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead AccuNet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at AccuNet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at AccuNet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well, and there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. A recipe for a good night's sleep starts with an open airway. Now, there are devices that can help solve snoring or sleep apnea problems. If you walk into a sleep center, know you'll walk out with a CPAP. And you might find other options elsewhere, but the simple truth is, if your nose doesn't work properly, no device will help. Only at Advent will you find every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution, along with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com. WTMJ Now.
Oh, I always say yes to the Stones. Josh Arterster's social media director. You guys are in Milwaukee here, right?
We are, yep. We're in Walker's Point, kind of right across the bridge from the 3rd Ward.
Very nice spot. All right, so we're talking about internet and online scams, social media scams. So some of the tips, some of the things that people should be doing and noticing when it comes to their use of the internet and social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, these things happen throughout the year, but especially during this time because a lot of people are shopping online. It's easy, convenient, what have you. There are definitely ways that people take advantage of you during this time of year. And it's unfortunate, but these things happen.
So if I'm looking at a social media post, because I mentioned the one about the shoes, is it harder to tell if that's real or fake than, say, if I just went to an internet site or I had an email sent to me? Because email is where they get you, right? They have you click on a link, and once you do that, you're in no man's land, and a big concern for a lot of people. When you're talking about someone who maybe is not as savvy as you are as a subject matter expert, even me, somebody who uses social media a lot, is there sort of an easier way to figure out something? You mentioned a few of them. Mm-hmm. Other tips that we could, that doesn't seem right to me. You mentioned the pricing is one. Too good to be true. Grammatical errors. What else?
Really, one of the most foolproof ways is you do a Google search of that company name and the word scam. If people are having...
So people have reported it.
Oh, yeah. Yep. 9 times out of 10, if you are not quite sure about a brand, do a quick search for any sort of scams or fraudulent activity that they've been involved in, and people will be talking about it.
Is the trend up for these types of things, or is it plateaued?
It seems to continue to go upward every year. I think it's because as different avenues and different technologies come out, these scammers and fraudsters are finding new ways to tap into ways to get your personal information, your bank account information, all that stuff.
One of the things we were talking about before you came in the studio was the protection of your information. And one of the big ones is passwords.
Mm-hmm.
And I know everybody talks a good game, but I just talked to somebody the other day who's using their birthday as their password. Literally their birthday.
It's tough. I know. It's one of those things. Really complex password takes time to type in. You might not remember it exactly, but at the end of the day, there are reports that come out every year that talk about password security, and the amount of people who use admin or password 123 or your birthday. It's just such low-hanging fruit for people to just kind of guess what that might be because it's such a common mistake that people make.
What's the best password tip you would give somebody? Just
usually if you are creating a new account or something like that, you want to use a mix of both capital and lowercase letters, things like a period or an exclamation point. They're common letters that you can replace with numbers. So, any sort of
a 3 for E.
Yeah, like a 3 for E or a 4 for an A, things like that. Any phrase that you are familiar with that might not be something that's common or somebody might just happen to guess upon, and then using some of those switches to make it as complex as possible but as easy to remember for you.
And the other one that I've had good luck with so far is a string of words with a comma or a period between them, 4 or 5 unrelated words.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you have to remember it, but once you've done it a few times, you kind of know what they are, right? So, a random selection of 4 or 5 words. What's the most you can have? What's the most characters you can have in a password? Is there a limit?
It depends on the website. Some have minimum
38?
character requirements. Some have maximum. So it kind of depends.
So is there a magic number for a number of characters? I think they always usually say, what's the number they say that you have to have minimum? 8, 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say as many as you can use without it getting too difficult to remember.
What's the best way to remember your passwords? Like an alternate site, a storage system. What's the best way to do that?
I would say, sites like Google, if you're using Google Chrome, they have a pretty solid encryption when it comes to saving your passwords. A lot of people might use, like on an iPhone, you have the Notes app. I know a lot of people keep all of their stuff saved there. I think one of the biggest tips that I can pass along too is that you're technically supposed to use a different password for each account that you're going to log into. Because if somebody gets one and you use it for everything, they've got them all. Yeah.
All right. So some fun social media stuff. Of all the big platforms, what is your most favorite one to spend time on?
Honestly, I would say I use Instagram most for kind of keeping up on friends and family. Being in social, I kind of have to keep my ear to the ground for new trends, so I typically look at TikTok. But, certainly...
You didn't say X or Twitter.
I was going to say, we talked about Twitter, X, kind of being this weird moment right now for them. But I use it all the time to keep up with bands that might be putting out a new album or sports or news or things like that because, it's just real time. You can kind of scroll through your feed and get a check on the day.
Josh Arter joining us, social media director for Stir in Milwaukee. I was thinking about this the other day because I still like the X, formerly known as Twitter, and I said this about Elon Musk the other day. As much as he is an innovator and obviously Tesla and SpaceX and all that stuff, I wouldn't trust him to drive me to West Dallas because he just seems like a Looney Tune. And maybe that's how innovators are. But when you see people like that are making high-level decisions for big companies, and Twitter is a big company, and he's got a lot of other interests as well, it does suggest, this is a big picture question, Josh, if you don't know what's coming, it does suggest that the foundational elements of the way we communicate are somewhat circumspect, right? Because you can easily influence millions of people really quickly. We had what was the letter that was going on? Osama bin Laden letter that was influencing young people on TikTok, where all of a sudden they go, wow, Osama bin Laden's really right on that. It's like, but then they realize, no.
But actually.
it catches on.
Right, yeah.
And just the viral aspect of it is somewhat dangerous, especially when you're talking about other stories like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you made a good point. Elon Musk, even people like yourself, who are in the media, things like that, who are kind of these public figures, especially on these social media platforms, we're talking about hundreds of thousands to millions of people who follow them and are looking to them for their thoughts on everything. And so, when you do have somebody like Elon Musk who has just a gazillion people following him, when he puts these statements out, whatever it may be, that is a huge influence on what people might think about a certain topic.
Last thing for you. So there's a great rule of carpenters. Measure twice, cut once. What's the similar phrase and or strategy that you use when you're talking about internet or online scams or social media scams? What is the sort of foolproof method, if anything's foolproof, to prevent yourself from getting scammed?
Trust your gut. It is. It's one of those things. A perfect example is, unfortunately, when I was in college, my grandma, she got a call from a random number, and the person said, "Hey, I'm a friend of Josh. He's in the hospital right now. He was in this terrible accident. He needs you to wire me like $3,000 to help him with the medical bills and to get him out of the hospital." And she just knew something wasn't right. And so she hung up and she called my number directly, said, "Hey, I just got this call saying you're in the hospital. I just want to make sure you're okay. You're good?" And I said, "Grandma, I am so fine." Block that number. I'm glad that you took the time to really take a second guess or to second thought about it, and really just trust your gut.
The other one that I've heard recently, and this is something that a manager at Myers told me, is no responsible organization is going to ask you to pay something in gift cards.
Correct.
So they have now alerted their cashiers and the people that work in their stores, if somebody's coming in and buying a lot of gift cards, ask a lot of questions.
Exactly.
And that on its own is a really, really good bit of advice, because if somebody's asking you to go get $1,000 in whatever kind of gift cards to pay something or give to someone that you don't even know, hang it up. Don't do it.
Easily. Yeah. Gift cards, there are so many scams. They will, ask you to buy a bunch and scratch off the back so you can give them the numbers. Right. There are, even people on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist who, they usually have some kind of sob story about why they need to sell these gift cards. They might say there's $100 on this gift card, but they're selling it for $40. But at the end of the day, those gift cards are actually empty. So, you might Venmo or Cash App somebody this money, and then they put it right in their pocket. You get a gift card that's worthless, and then you're out your, whatever.
Venmo safe?
I would say Venmo is safe. Cash App is safe. Zelle is safe. A lot of these, digital wallets that you can kind of share money with people. As long as you are familiar with and know the person that you are sending this money to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, like Cash App, if I send you money, it can be gone forever. There is really no getting that money back from you.
Yeah. Great advice, great tips. Josh, pleasure to meet you. Have a great holiday season.
You too.
We'll talk again as we discuss the great, wonderful, wild world of social media. Thanks much.
More than happy.
A lot more to get to after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
This is WTMJ's Sandy Max with a brand new show called What's on Tap. Weeknights at 6, you're invited to join me to take a deeper dive into culture and creativity here in Wisconsin and around the world. Tap into all kinds of entertainment and recreation with me, from music, theater, film, food, and uniquely Wisconsin traditions and landmarks. So pique your curiosity and join me for What's on Tap. And be sure to catch the podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you want to upgrade and transform your current bathroom space, I've got you covered. It's Sidex. Sidex just did the work in our house, took out the old bathtub, put in a beautiful walk-in shower. It is stunning. The process streamlined and efficient. Sidex is the company I trust. Sidex is the company doing the work in our bathroom, in our house. My wife is so happy. They have changed our bathroom space. It's incredible. Joe, living the legacy of his dad, Sanford. It's incredible. They're family-owned since 1988. Free shower door upgrade when you mention John Mercure. Sidex. Check out the guys I trust at Sidex.
What do you mean he's not coming in? This is our busiest time.
The mixologist at Claude's Bar is moving to Manhattan.
I'm already down 2 bar backs. No one's manning front of
Now he needs an equally cosmopolitan replacement.
How am I going to find a new bartender before New Year's Eve?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hello, it's licensed health insurance agent Mark Christensen, CISMedicare.com, independent Medicare agent, 16 years. We work with 14 companies, 74 plans. Now is the time to review numerous Medicare plan benefit changes. Call me at 262-302-1133 or go to CISMedicare.com and say yes to CIS.
Say yes to CIS.
This is a solicitation. We do not offer every plan. Contact 1-800-MEDICARE for more info.
It's WTMJ Now.
Happy Victory Monday, everybody. 11:31 on WTMJ. The biggest stick in the state, we don't say it much anymore, but that's just what we say after every break, every commercial, biggest stick in the state. And that's true. All right, so it's been a challenging day, technology-wise. We're just talking to Josh Arter from STIR about the challenges of social media and internet and online scams. And if you want to check out that conversation, you missed any of it, go to our podcast page at WTMJ.com or wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever, and you can hear the entire conversation, which we do for all of our shows and our guests and our features. Make that available to you every day, and, of course, WTMJ.com. All right, so I saw this story. And I had to think long and hard about this. So, buried in the most recent infrastructure bill in Congress is a requirement that vehicle manufacturers install kill switches into every new car, truck, and SUV sold in this country. Now, I will caution you, it's not for at least 5 years. But one of the questions that comes up is this overreach? Does it go too far? Is the government getting too invested in my private life? So those of us in Wisconsin know this well. We are a state, county by county, city by city, that embraces the culture of alcohol. And one of the ideas with legislation like this is that there is technology installed that can measure your impairments when you get into the vehicle or when you try to start the vehicle. So this switch/safety system would be able to essentially catch people in the act of operating while drunk or high, on drugs, impaired in any way. And on a day where we don't have phones or text, I just wanted to present this. I'm going to talk about this story at some point during the week because it is a fascinating look at the dilemmas we face with technology. We just talked about it with Josh Arter. We've got this great technology, amazing ability to communicate, but there's all these challenges related to it, and now we're seeing it thrive in the area of online scams, people getting swindled, stealing money, dangerous stuff. So the basic question is, does this go too far? And I don't have a real thought on it yet because I don't know. Because it does presume something that anybody who buys a new vehicle is already suspect, right? We're putting technology on a vehicle that's supposed to catch you doing something wrong. And I'm not even mentioning at this point, although it's certainly something that's relevant, false positives. What happens if the technology is not working? You have a brand new vehicle that doesn't allow you to operate it. And in some cases, that could be dangerous. For example, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you had to stop your car for something, you get in, you can't operate the car, middle of the night, what are you going to do then? And obviously, we have cell phone technology. That could be part of the answer. So I'm going to think about this for a while, but I want you to think about it in this way. Like a lot of technology, We are looking at how it impacts each of us individually. Social media, this kind of sort of foray into the operation of a vehicle, everything from safety considerations to technology considerations to privacy considerations.
So my question is, how does it detect it? And say you're the designated driver and maybe the person in shotgun is intoxicated.
There's a few different technologies, and again, this is still to be determined. This is 5 years plus away. Just like a breathalyzer works, it can detect it that way in the environment inside the vehicle. There's something that can also detect how your motions, how you're interacting with the vehicle itself, fumbling. But again, there's so much gray here. But on its surface, it sounds like a great idea. If we could prevent people who are drunk from driving, wouldn't that make sense in the perfect world? Sure. And in a state like Wisconsin, where, let's face it, alcohol's king, from the Friday fish fry to the Packers games I was at last night. Here's a quick story about the Packers game last night related to alcohol. I know it's unrelated to the topic, but well, sort of. There were two guys in front of us in line waiting to get into Lambeau Field. They were already drunk 2 hours before the game. Two buddies, two friends, standing right in front of us, Kathy and I, arguing about the dumbest thing. I actually almost, but I thought this is an invasion of privacy. I was going to record the conversation and play it on the show. It was like the most knucklehead conversation about one guy saying, "You always say that," and back and forth for like 5 minutes. I actually wanted to interject and say, "Why don't you just have fun at the game?" But I thought I might get punched. But that's alcohol in Wisconsin, and if we could do something that could impact that, that's why these ideas are not going away. Now, whether we'll see it in 5 years, I don't think so. I mean, Elon Musk wants us to get in cars that don't have drivers, right? Or we sit in the back seat while our car is taking us to work. Anybody think that's 5 years away? I don't. You think it's 5 years away, Charlie? I don't think so.
There's a lot of things they said that would be here by now, like
flying cars,
hoverboards, real hoverboards, not those weird two-wheel menaces that I saw in college.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can all speculate on this stuff and then wonder what's going to happen. So think about that one. I'm going to get to that at some point this week, but I just want to kind of get it out there because this is a topic that I'm really curious what you think. Invasion of privacy, trusting technology too much, too early before the technology is tested. Where are we at as we look at the impact of decisions made in Congress? Who's going to regulate it? Department of Transportation? National Highway Safety Traffic Administration? Who? Law enforcement? If you're thinking about technology in the sense of safety, there's other considerations, privacy being first and foremost. A quick break. Another break as we wind it down to Jeff Wagner, or wind it up to Jeff Wagner, I should say, all here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Happy holidays. Yep, they are here. Hey, it's WTMJ's Brian Z. The holidays right around the corner. It's time for parties, family time, photos around that tree. Make sure your teeth are looking their best. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. You know about Dr. Michaels. I tell you about him all the time. Whether you or your family need a simple cleaning and exam, a more complex dental procedure for an ache or a pain, a teeth whitening, an implant, Dr. Michaels and the team at Oconomowoc Dental Care will always make you as comfortable as possible while you're in the chair and give both you and your family an amazing smile. At Oconomowoc Dental Care, affordable quality dentistry no longer a dream. It's the reality. Dr. Michaels' fantastic staff can help you out with a no-interest payment plan, no financial stress this holiday season. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not wait any longer. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Pain relief and gimmicks. The two seem to go hand in hand, and it really is a shame, because when you're living with chronic pain, you're vulnerable. And that's why so many people get tricked into buying unproven treatments. At Rejuvenex, we understand how you suffer, how you wait to get out of bed because you know the pain is coming. Chronic pain from osteoarthritis is a terrible thing, and that's why we use our proprietary, powerful, FDA-approved treatments to precisely target your affected areas, to provide cushion and lubrication that helps deliver long-lasting pain relief in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We're in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really.
Rejuvenate. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
WTMJ Now.
Winding it up, the Jeff Wagner's coming up noon to 3. All right, so as we're sort of wrangling with this technology challenge today, and technology has kind of been written into the last part of the show here with our social media conversation with Josh Arter earlier in the 11 o'clock hour, and then, of course, the conversation. I'm just teeing up a future conversation when I have phones and text on the kill switch idea, which is written into the infrastructure bill from Congress that will actually ask vehicle manufacturers to install equipment technology that can detect when a driver is impaired. Now, lots of heavy lifting has to happen before that, and like a lot of this one is fraught with peril for both manufacturers. You know, how expensive is it? How does it work? Who's responsible if it doesn't work? And then the drivers themselves, would they accept that intrusion into their private lives? But as Charlie and I were kicking around some ideas for audience interaction in a phoneless, textless environment, if you go to YouTube and you're a subscriber to YouTube, you can watch the program. This is not new. This has been for a while now. You can watch the streamcast of all the shows, right? Morning show, Wisconsin Morning News. My show, Jeff Wagner's show, Wisconsin Afternoon News, and all the programs. And you can comment there. And Charlie has promised, and this might be an ongoing venture for all of us, right? Monitor those comments as well. So if you're I know Jeff has a lot of streamcast watchers and listeners. If you are engaging with Jeff this afternoon, one of the ways that you can probably do that is to enter comments on the YouTube channel of WTMJ. Just a thought. Now, I've given you a couple options, and hopefully I won't have to utilize these tomorrow, but steve.scaffidi at 2fs1d at WTMJ.com. Always available. Get a lot of great emails. I got a few today. I'll probably go through those in a little bit. And if you're on Twitter, or the X as it's now called, you can comment on my posts. I'm at WTMJ Steve. Give me a follow if you could. And today's show poll, if you're curious, had to do with the question. And we got a lot of votes already. With a well-earned and surprising victory at Lambeau Field last night, the Packers find themselves at 500. And in the playoff hunt, how many games do you think the Packers will win this year? Right now at 70%. And let me refresh it so we get the latest numbers. 70%. Say 9 to 10. Now, my best estimate guess at the beginning of this year was 8. Well, they're at 6 already, and they got 5 games left, and they're playing a 1-11 team. They're playing the Bears again. They're playing Tampa, Giants, not the powerhouse teams of the NFL. The Vikings, on the other hand, have, I think, a couple really tough games. I think that they either play the Chiefs or play the 49ers. So they've got a lot of heavy lifting to do. So right now, 14% of you say, and I've got 250 votes, say 7 to 8. So that should be fairly doable. 69.7, 70% say 9 to 10. And just for fun, I put let's turn it up to 11, a little Spinal Tap reference there. 14% with a few comments. Carolina, New York, Chicago, Tampa Bay, and Minnesota toss-up. They're all toss-ups. Any given Sunday is the popular mantra about the NFL, and that's true. The Eagles had the best record in the NFL, 10-1, I think it was, or 11-1. And San Francisco came into town yesterday and just destroyed them. And I know some Philly fans, and they were not happy. And certainly on the AFC side of things, I looked at the predictions because I did see a little TV yesterday, pre the time I left for Green Bay, in advance of that. Everybody picked the Chiefs, which I picked the Chiefs, so that's not surprising. So I don't think anybody expected the Packers to win that game. But here we are. So if you want to comment on that, you can certainly tee it up on the old X, or the new X, old Twitter, and let us know what you think. It's been an interesting day talking without feedback, but I know that you're all out there saying, oh my God, what is he doing? But that's the challenge. That's the fun part of it, though. It's a great thing about radio. You're trying to figure it out. Hopefully I've given you some content that is worthy of that experiment. Wouldn't want to do it every day. All right, another quick break here. You're listening, of course, to Steve Scaffidi on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
With Social Security, the longer you wait, the more money you may get. Deciding when to start taking your Social Security benefits is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll make. Our team of advisors at Drake & Associates can show you the options and help you decide on the best decision for you and your situation. You spent decades paying in, optimize what comes out. Our experienced team can help you squeeze every penny out of your Social Security benefits. I'd love to get you our Retirement Ready Toolkit, which includes guides such as the Social Security Decision. To receive this complimentary toolkit, call or text SS to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting SS to 414-409-9982.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody. QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave. Don't treat yourself like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Get the gift of savings Friday through Sunday, in-store only during Fleet Fest at Fleet Farm. Get a $10 gift card when you buy $50 in toys for the kids. Take an extra 20% off all varieties of wild bird food. And save $10 instantly on any $75 purchase for a limited time only with our seasonal savings coupon. Shop in-store this Friday through Sunday for even more Fleet Fest deals at Fleet Farm, where we have everything you need for everyone on your list.
It's WTMJ Now.
Thanks for spending time with me on this Victory Monday here on WTMJ. Jeff Wagner coming up in a few moments. All right, did I miss this? Did I miss this press release? No, I've swore off fast food for the last 6 months, but so I haven't really had a McDonald's hamburger. But did you, Charles? Were you aware of these changes that we're supposed to be recognizing at McDonald's?
You mean other than bringing back the McRib?
Yeah, that does that do anything for you? Because I haven't.
I don't care. I've never had it. It looks like the sort of rib sandwiches we had in elementary school. So
yes, sloppy and messy and gooey and
fake,
fake ribs. Yeah. So I guess, and for me, a McRib would just be how long until I'm wearing that sauce on my shirt or clothing. That's my experience with the McRib. Well, I wasn't aware that McDonald's is redoing their hamburgers, an attempt to make them more juicy. So here's some of the changes that are coming to McDonald's near you. More sauce on the Big Macs. Did they need more sauce?
I guess I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I haven't had
but it might make the bread soggier.
I'll tell you what. If weight wasn't an option, I'd go get a Big Mac and a large fry in 10 minutes. Onions will be rehydrated after purchase to ensure juiciness. So they get them dehydrated. They're dry, and they rehydrate them.
I thought the sauce did that for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too, because they didn't seem like they were overly dry, right? To me, it's a different kind of, it's not like the hamburger you get at a restaurant, but a McDonald's hamburger in its own unique way is a special creation. It's what I grew up on. I grew up when McDonald's were a rare thing. Now they're everywhere. Every corner has a McDonald's. Meltier cheese.
Isn't it already melting?
Isn't it too melty? Can barely find the patty. Fresher lettuce and pickles. I think we all endorse that, right? Yeah. Who doesn't like a fresh pickle? 6 patties will be grilled at a time instead of 30.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Slightly slower food.
Slower service.
I guess they're really banking on people using the app.
This one, I'm not a foodie, but brioche buns will be sliced with a thicker bottom. And who doesn't like a thicker bottom?
Do they already use brioche buns?
I don't think so.
I love brioche buns.
Somebody I was going to say, text me what a brioche bun is. I can just search it. Search it and let me know what it is. This is a classic one that somebody thought too hard on this. Listen to this. Sesame seeds will be further spaced out. Apparently, the sesame spacing was like real concern of the burger industry.
Oh, got too many sesame seeds on your lap or something?
Apparently, yeah. These are the things that McDonald's thinking about. That one is amazing. So all of these changes rolling out here early next year. So if you're a big fan, and I haven't had one in about 6 months, but if you're a big fan of the McDonald's burger, completely different look, feel, texture, juicier, maybe thicker. Who knows?
I think it'll just be the same.
Yeah? All right. Coming to a McDonald's near you. All right, speaking to Jeff is coming into the studio. Jeff Wagner, who's going to be up noon to 3 on our phoneless, textless Monday, Victory Monday. Beat the Super Bowl champions Victory Monday. That's all next on WTMJ.
WTMJ Now.
WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
The best player on the Wisconsin Badgers football team is this running back, Raylan Allen. He's announced that he is going